Picture this. It's 7:30 a.m. You are standing in line at your local coffee shop. The smell of roasted beans is everywhere. The milk steamer is hissing. And you're just one person away from that medium oat milk latte. But then, your inner thought starts whispering. If you buy this $5.5 coffee, you're choosing caffeine over your future. You feel that guilt. You look at the $5.5 total on the screen. You tap your card anyway. But the coffee tastes like failure now. You spend the rest of your commute calculating how much that $5.5 could have been in 40 years. If you'd put it into the S&P 500. Look, I've been there. We've all been there. We've been told for decades that the latte factor is the reason the middle class is shrinking. But here's the thing, and it's a hard truth. It's a lie. My name is Ash, and I spend way too much time thinking about what if I don't spend money on coffee. If you're someone who loves coffee and thinking to save, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we are finally killing the coffee myth. I'm going to show you the actual math, the psychological trap of microfrugality, and why focusing on $5 lattes is actually the fastest way to stay stuck in the middle class. The math that doesn't add up. Let's start with the math, because numbers don't have feelings. The standard argument is this. If you save $5 a day, that's $150 a month. If you invest that $150 every month for 30 years at a 7% return, you end up with roughly $180,000. Now, on paper, $180,000 sounds like a lot of money. You're thinking, well, Ash, that's a house. No, here's what most people don't realize. Inflation. In 30 years, due to the average inflation rate of 3%, that $180,000 will have the purchasing power of about $74,000 in today's money. Is $74,000 a nice cushion? Sure. Is it rich? Is it financial freedom? Absolutely not. But it gets worse. To get that $180,000, you have to be perfect. You have to never miss a day, never have an emergency, and the market has to behave exactly as predicted for 3 decades. Meanwhile, while you're stressing over $5, the big 3 expenses are absolutely gutting your net worth. 1. Housing or rent, 33% of income. 2. Transportation, 16% of income. 3. Food, groceries plus dining, 12% of income. Coffee is usually grouped into miscellaneous, which accounts for less than 2% of most people's spending. You are spending 98% of your mental energy fighting over 2% of your budget. It's like trying to drain a flooding basement with a teaspoon while the front door is wide open. The psychology of decision fatigue. Here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about the dollars. It's about your brain. There's a concept in psychology called decision fatigue. Every human being has a limited amount of willpower every day. Think of it like a phone battery. Every time you make a difficult choice, your battery drains. When you spend your morning obsessing over whether or not to spend $5, you are draining your battery before the workday even begins. Now, you might be thinking, Ash, it's just one choice. It's not that deep, but it is. Because later that afternoon, when you need to make a big decision, your willpower battery is at 5%. You're exhausted. You take the path of least resistance. You sign the bad contract. You skip the research. You saved $5 on coffee, but you just lost the mental energy to negotiate your salary or your rent. Look, being micro-frugal often makes us macro-stupid. We focus so hard on the pebbles that we trip over the boulders. The substitution effect and the frugality trap. There's another reason the coffee myth is dangerous. The substitution effect. Most people who cut out coffee don't actually save that money. They just spend it somewhere else. You tell yourself, I was so good this morning. I didn't get my Starbucks. I deserve this $12 artisanal sandwich for lunch. By the end of the day, you've actually spent more money because you used your morning sacrifice as a justification for afternoon rewarding. This is a documented psychological loop. True wealth doesn't come from denying yourself small joys. It comes from automating the big wins, so you don't even have to think about the small stuff. The 3 big wins. If we aren't saving the $5, what are we doing? I want you to stop looking at your coffee and start looking at your fixed costs. This is the big win framework. Instead of making a daily choice to save $5, you make a one-time choice to save $500 a month. 1. The housing pivot. In 2026, the average rent in the US is hovering around $2,100. If you move 10 minutes further away, or get a roommate, and drop that to $1,700, you just saved $400 a month. That is the equivalent of skipping 80 coffees. In one decision, you do it once, and the savings happen automatically every month for the rest of the year. 2. The interest rate audit. Look at your credit card debt or your car loan. If you spend 3 hours refinancing a 19% April credit card to a 0% balance transfer, or calling your student loan provider, you could save thousands in interest. One phone call is worth 5 years of skipped lattes. 3. Negotiate your salary. According to recent labor stats, the average person who switches jobs or negotiates their salary sees a 10% to 20% increase in pay. If you make $60,000 and you negotiate a 10% raise, that's $6,000 a year. To save $6,000 by skipping coffee, you would have to avoid buying coffee for 3 years straight. Why would you spend 3 years in caffeine withdrawal when you could spend 30 minutes in a meeting with your boss? The story of two savers. Let me tell you about two friends, Sarah and Mike. Sarah is a coffee minimalist. She brings a thermos from home every day. She spends 10 minutes every morning brewing, cleaning, and prepping. She saves $150 a month, but she feels deprived. She's grumpy at the office. She spends her mental energy judging her coworkers who buy lattes. Mike buys the $6 latte every morning. He loves it. It's his ritual. It gets him in the zone for work. But Mike did something Sarah didn't. 2 years ago, Mike spent one weekend setting up an automatic transfer. 15% of his paycheck goes straight to his brokerage account before he even sees it. He also spent one afternoon calling his car insurance and internet provider to negotiate his rates, saving him $120 a month. Sarah is saving $150 through daily struggle. Mike is saving $120 through one afternoon of work, and another $800 through automation. 10 years from now, Mike will be significantly wealthier than Sarah, even though he drank 3,000 more lattes than she did. The lesson? Wealth is a result of systems, not suffering. Do this today. I don't want you to just watch this and go buy a coffee. I want you to change your system. Here is your anti-coffee myth checklist. Step 1. The 1% rule. Go into your payroll settings today and increase your $401,000 II contribution by just 1%. You won't even feel it. It's the cost of maybe 2 coffees a month, but over 20 years, it's a massive macro win. Step 2. Identify your big rocks. Open your bank app. Find the 3 largest recurring payments. Is it your car, your rent, your insurance? Pick one. Spend this Saturday finding a way to lower it by $100. Step 3. Buy the coffee, but do it right. If you're going to buy the coffee, use it as a productivity trigger. Only buy it when you're doing high-value work. Use that caffeine and that treat to power through your side hustle, your study session, or your career planning. Look, the reason the coffee myth is so popular is that it's easy to preach. It's easy for a billionaire to tell you to stop buying lattes because it puts the blame on you and your lack of discipline. But I'm here to tell you, your $5 coffee is not the reason you can't afford a house. The skyrocketing cost of real estate, stagnant wages, and predatory interest rates are the reasons. Stop playing small. Stop punishing yourself for a $5 joy. Focus on the big numbers. Automate your savings. Negotiate your worth. And for the love of everything, enjoy your coffee. Because when you finally reach that $100,000 or $1 million milestone, you aren't going to look back and say, I wish I drank more lukewarm water from a thermos. You're going to be glad you focused on the things that actually move the needle. See you in the next one.